You're listening to Way Off Central.
Okay, so today is a pretty serious day, I think. Pretty fucking serious day. And to set the serious note, I seen a Facebook post by a girl that I think I went to school with. She shared it. It was an article from life.org the other day. And it was about the abortion law that recently passed in New South Wales. So it's now legal. Fucking finally.
Yeah, I was unaware that it
wasn't legal. Yeah, no, I think people will come to the ACT to, get the coat hanger out.
Get the old scrape kitty.
Jesus.
So anyway, this article from, I believe it was called life.org, which, as you can imagine, was probably not happy with the abortion law. And this girl, and she's Islamic, and she was not happy. And she was going, I can't actually believe this. This is disgusting, or something along those lines. And I went, fuck it, I'll read the article. And apparently what it means is women are allowed to have an abortion up to 22 weeks. It's fine.
That seems like just enough to start thinking, all right, it's not food weight.
Well, here's
this might be a baby.
Here's the thing, right? So 22 weeks is typically just after halfway. I remember listening to a podcast called Science Verse, and it's by the BBC. And basically, is it SBS? I don't know. Fuck, same company. It's not. Anyway,
it was by 3 letters. Yeah.
Anyway, basically, babies can't even start to feel pain until 24 weeks. That's the youngest. Now, basically, the big headline for this article was new law allows women to get abortions right up until birth. With a doctor's permission, yes, in New South Wales, you are now able to have an abortion right up until birth.
Is that more like if it jeopardises the life of the mother?
Surely it has to be. But using that as the headline,
life is going to be shit. If I have this kid, get him out of me.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Surely there's
no, but that's with the doctor's permission. Surely it's like, you had this child, you will likely die.
Yeah.
Kill the kid, fuck that.
Surely there's some real strong repercussions if you have an abortion just about when you're ready to pop,
Oh, it's absolutely huge. You've still got to...
It's like stillbirth, essentially, which is...
Yeah, people actually do have stillbirth, where even if the kid's dead and you know it, you still have to birth the kid.
So it's
you can't
good
just leave
lipo.
it in there.
Why not?
Oh, fuck.
Food, mate. Don't do that. That's fasting.
Fucking hell.
Different cavity.
It's a full tank, mate.
Not quite in the stomach.
All right. Does someone want to go through our topics for today?
Happy you read them out. I've got them in different orders.
Alrighty. So, again, thanks to Ms. Casey Olsen for these topics of the day. So today we're going to be discussing breastfeeding in public. Should women be allowed to breastfeed in public? Should gays have the same adoption rights? Is our behaviour determined by our genes? And tattoo and piercing discrimination in the workplace. Who'd like to begin?
Titty fuel. What do we think in the public?
Titty fuel. I even did some Googling and I actually can't even come up with an argument as to why not.
I think it's unfair that I have to walk around with an erection because they can do it.
Not even in a crude way. It's just a normal thing.
Yeah, it's life
to do. It's actually odd that people find this offensive.
I would prefer them getting some tit than dropping their bottled milk every.
I think this is a recycling issue. They're using single-use plastic bottles to feed their children. No. Just whip out the boob, it'll be fine. Everybody can just relax.
I actually can't imagine anyone getting angry about someone just getting the girls out.
I've seen people pull out a blanket sort of thing and do it over and have their heads under it as well, which is fair enough because I guess at some stage, in some circumstances, they feel just targeted by people.
I think that's the most important thing. It shouldn't be about like anybody walking by who's made a little uncomfortable by it. I mean, grow up.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
It should be the comfortability of the mother and the child.
if nothing else, you should be fined if you were even found in making that mother feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, you look everywhere but that tit.
I think the fact is, women need to be comfortable enough to do it. So people need to be taught from a young age that this sort of thing is normal and it's okay.
Here's a question for you. Is it like a valve? Like just on and off when the baby sucks on it? Or are there performance issues? Like when she gets stage fright out in public?
I think it's actually the opposite. I think sometimes you get leakage.
Yeah, I don't think she'll ever get stage fright if she's producing properly. But
Bulkily.
yeah, well, bulk, there can definitely be some
Like fucking afterlife.
Mate, that's
to
just
the
a fucking
cheesecake.
planned projectiles.
It's just a ball valve pressure rating, mate.
I remember reading somewhere recently, and I can't remember whether it was in Australia or elsewhere, but somewhere's just got a law passed, so basically women can't be done for public indecency if they've just got their tops off the same as men at the beach. And I just thought, fuck, if we're getting
Cool place to live.
yeah, well, no, not only that, like if we're getting to that point, it's like, surely this is okay. Like, one of the arguments against it is, children will see it, and it's like, your kids seeing your
guess
boobs.
who's
Your
sucking
kids
on
will
it?
probably see. Your kids will see boobs soon enough. Like, it will happen. Fuck. Like, who cares? Grow the fuck up.
Like, it's probably best to have that. I wouldn't want to call it sex ed, but like an educational thing to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, no, breasts aren't just a sexual thing. They're actually a reproductive organ. They're there intentionally, that children can feed. That's
How dare you?
That's their primary design, contrary to popular belief.
You're a piece of shit, Josh.
People who
Don't
are
ruin this for me.
People who are
No,
against...
I'm saying
People who... No, I'm kidding.
Shut up, John. No. Yeah. That was good. That was a good noise.
My dog does it all the time when I beat him. People who are against public breastfeeding are the same people who didn't get off the tit until they were 12 years old.
Imagine being the scumbag that gets angry when he sees a pair of tits, but is also the same cunt that's like
I might
right-wing as fuck. And
I might just wait on a bus until some poor woman does it and go, ah!
You know what the worst bit is? The same person who would get mad about a woman breastfeeding in public is the same person who, like, there's now sexual charges against because 20 years ago he was harassing women.
I reckon the same cunt that gets offended by a woman breastfeeding is the same cunt that was against abortion and made the bitch have it. Pick one, mate.
Who gave Captain Marvel such a low rating because it was a female leader.
I thought it was an alright film.
Having said that, I have heard a lot of complaints from older women about it, and I think it's just like
Jealousy, surely.
not necessarily jealousy, but
Oh,
I think
wonder
a
what
lot
it's
of
like to not have saggy tits.
yeah, well, I think a lot of older women feel it's just. I don't exactly know how.
I think they're
they
just
would
from a
describe
time where it's like you keep what's yours to yourself.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Put them in a home. Fuck that.
Aiden and I were kind of like the people who get angry at public breastfeeding today, in the sense that, like after every good gym session, we go to Macca's afterwards for a feed. And this guy
I think
started...
when we really put in the big ones, like today, where did a little bit stretched.
Yeah. And this guy's sitting down waiting for his food, and he starts coughing. It was obnoxious coughing. He was on his phone. He wasn't really covering his mouth, but it was the lazy sort of cough. It wasn't like get it all out in one. He sort of just let it dribble out, like
Yeah, enough to just spread your germs while not actually solving the
yeah.
problem.
And it was quite throaty. And Aiden and I were like,
I'm pretty sure shut up.
trying to eat. This is a family restaurant.
All right.
I think we've covered that one.
Yeah,
I think we're fairly across it.
Should not be allowed, yeah?
Yeah,
Or do we need to go back over it? Did I miss a few things? No, it should be
we
allowed.
missed a couple points there.
whip him out.
Whip it out.
I feel like them real overly sexist, like, news anchors.
It's sexist, but it's also we also did cover in there. If you make them feel uncomfortable, you're a piece of shit.
Oh, that's
So
actually
stare
a good, that's
creepily
actually a
from
good
stare
question.
creepily from a bush or somewhere where they can't see you.
like if it all of a sudden becomes okay, I think a lot of women would be made to feel uncomfortable by like some guys.
I think it
walking
already
by.
is okay. I think it's already.
Yeah,
I think you do like. I think you see it. Well, you see it in spring, obviously, because 'tis
Yeah.
the mating season. But
Imagine some chick just breastfeeding on a park bench. A couple guys go up to her, how old is he? Just standing there making zero eye contact.
Yeah, see, I think the
Cute
thing
little
is,
fella, can I touch you?
everybody needs to be comfortable in the situation. So like, it's a
100%.
respect thing.
100%. All right. Next topic, Joshua.
Gay relationships and their adoption rights.
It's so just to be clear, it's just about the adoption rights of gay couples, not gay relationships and adoption rights.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We're not
it's
going to talk
it's a
about
single
gay
topic.
relationships for a bit.
I wrote down for this because it's a really opinionated question. We arguably requires no research at all, apart from the fact that I didn't know that gays didn't have the same adoption rights.
They do now. I
you
actually
did?
did. Yeah,
Nice.
I did some research.
Okay, so
They
it
do now.
requires practically zero research. But I've decided to research creative insults for people who disagree.
That's
So,
good. I like it.
Fucking baboon, dumb fucker, an appendix, because what do they actually do if we can live without them? Backwards cunt, tits on a bull, because they're useless.
Pockets on a singlet. Also useless.
That's a cracker.
I
Rubber
pull that
beak
out
or
at work.
woodpecker.
And people don't laugh.
They've obviously never had a chat with Barry because that's not living.
I've written Bulbasaur down here because they're the last Pokemon that you pick at the start.
So, oh yeah.
Bulbasaur's
And
fucked.
Fuck.
going off that same
like it.
going off that same standard, you could just call him a fat kid.
So I remember I used to be mates with like this country kid when we played, like when we were at Arundel and played footy and stuff. And he was like properly anti-gay.
Yeah, right.
He was out from fucking West Wyong or somewhere out that way. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, why do you care? I was like, if you don't want like gay marriage, don't marry a gay guy. Like, fuck. And he was
I
like,
don't
nah,
wanna see
mate,
this
it's just
anymore.
He's like, nah, mate, it's just fucked.
Yeah,
Fucking puffs. He was blowing up. I was like, that's when it occurred to me that we live in, like, when it probably occurred to me that we just live in this Canberra bubble where, like, everyone's pretty fucking reasonable.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of acceptance in Canberra and a couple of the other major cities. But once you get a bit further into, regional areas and
Yeah, but they're
into
still
a few
using
other
Internet
countries.
Explorer. I think it's a
Yeah,
bit slow.
everyone's happy to fuck their sister, but
Just quickly on the Canberra topic of people like being reasonable. They're reasonable in the sense of like politically or fucking,
yeah.
but they're not reasonable enough to give us a fucking like on some photos on Instagram or just three guys trying to make a fucking podcast work.
Trying
They
to
won't
make it
follow
in
us.
this world.
Yeah, they won't tell their mates about us. They won't even give us a fucking listen. But they will support gays. I support LGBT, but not Q. I don't know what the Q stands for yet.
Queer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just gay.
Isn't it? That's what I thought.
Get him out.
How about LGBTQ? It's also I now for intersex.
Can we just add?
LGBTQIWOC.
There we go.
That's what we
I was
need.
going for.
We need
Yeah.
lesbian. Yeah, we need way off central at the end.
Can we actually just have like W, then like three of them, and then O, and then the other three, and then C?
They have taken up a fair chunk of the alphabet, haven't they?
Oh, quite a bit.
They've really
I
claimed
now
it.
get confused what vowels are and what the gay people think. Is.
What's an acronym? Yeah.
Wait, so
Oh.
queer is different than gay.
Nah, I think it. I don't know.
Queers are the gays that are
Watch
really
out
into
here, mate.
fashion.
You might
yeah?
offend someone.
Yeah, well, based on 22 Jump Street, it's like if they have a really good sense of humor and you know them really well, you might be able to call them a queer, which I don't. I actually thought queer was just another little. I always viewed it as a more like friendly term for gay. Like I always thought it was like a term of endearment.
Yeah, it's like calling them a filthy faggot.
Not quite, but good try. We're in,
Fuck no, I don't know.
we appreciate your
You've been using
enthusiasm.
that word so wrong.
Fuck you. You think you know a phrase, and all of a sudden. Yeah, but anyway, should we get back to the topic at hand?
I don't know. This is pretty good. This is good content.
Hey,
Yeah, let me take a sip of beer and we'll carry on. So, the difference between trans and intersex.
Oh, you're walking a fine
Is it-
line there.
Pre versus post op?
yeah, what? There was a lot of.
Is it
there was
pre
like-
versus post op?
Oh,
Like, is
oh,
intersex? Intersex as in you've identify as the opposite
Okay,
or a
okay.
different gender, and then
Before changing.
transgender is you've actually had a real go.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think I've
Oh, fuck.
You must be a
could-
carpenter in a past life because you've hit the nail on the head already.
you've hit the hammer right on the screw
Yeah.
because you're on it.
All right. I think our 20 odd listeners love it. I'm going to say we have 20 listeners.
I'm going to say we have 20 listeners.
I like 20 consistent.
20. Hear that? If you're just tuning in for the first time, you're now part of a family.
And we're having a massive party next year that we haven't announced yet. So,
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
be
true.
fuck, it's going to be off tap.
We're as large as a small Indian family now.
Okay, so, although based off Spotify, don't we have like probably 40 consistent listeners week to week?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
that's
more than
decent.
I ever thought.
I
we'd
mean,
get, so-
like 1,000 actually. We're actually taking on Joe, Uncle Rogan. So, okay, so should gay couples have the same adoption rights?
Definitely. Well, they do now. Yes.
They
correct?
do now. Yeah.
In the ACT or Australia as a whole?
No, so Australia as a whole. So the Northern Territory was the last
Standard.
last last joint to get around it.
I just feel like that's because they were sleeping. Like the rest of the states, like sending mail or emails going, "Oi, we've allowed this. You guys are the last one there." Their mayor or whatever the fuck they've got up there just wakes up and goes, "Oh fuck."
It's because they were too busy bashing kids in juvie. That's what happened.
He wakes up. He's like, "Oh no, 2 emails. I'm swamped. I can't. I don't know about.
I
any
have
of this."
been flat out. I cannot even begin to tell you.
What do we got for lunch today? Did you just raise your voice at me?
Next time, that'll be you. All
But
right.
It's 52 degrees Celsius.
So-
we're gonna have to turn the AC on now.
All right. So, I think absolutely they should. It shouldn't even be a question. Again,
I love Modern Family. Cam and Mitch are some of my favourites.
and realistically, when you look at it, better parents than the rest of them.
Oh, in Modern Family.
In Modern Family.
Come on, Phil Dunphy, dude.
Yeah.
What a dude.
What a dude.
He knows his way
What a hero.
around.
But my point is, at least, look, I think a good part about at least adoption as a whole, and gay couples being no exception to this, you almost completely take out the risk of any unwantedness, because you're not
without a doubt.
you're not going to accidentally knock them up, are you?
No.
So, like, 2 people that love you and cares about you, like, it's better than 1 or none. So, fuck, who cares what the sex or the gender or whatever the fuck they do?
Yeah, surely there's like a massive rate of kids who get to 18 and get kicked out of foster homes and shit.
Provided they meet like all the other eligibility standards.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
Like,
it.
there
They're
should
just
be no
assessed
question
as
about it.
they're now just assessed as anyone else who's trying to adopt.
Yeah,
looking
exactly.
To adopt, it's are you in a position to?
This is a big moment for you.
I think the only
Oh, yeah, sorry, carry on.
so like I have heard arguments against it, and they're always along the lines of the child won't have, that female, or if it's a lesbian couple, it could be that male.
That strong male or female role model, which
But
I do agree is important.
Well,
but I
see,
think you can find it in other. I think you can find it in other ways than
Yeah, just put on a few
in
James Bond movies or something. Fuck.
well,
It could
yes,
be a
it's-
teacher. It
That's
could
exactly
be
right. It's important.
It could be a
but
coach. It could be any number of things. A mentor in any other way.
the system should be good enough that it's provided throughout society. It shouldn't just be a matter of
Yeah.
your
get this from
mum
your
and dad.
parents.
Yeah, it should be a community thing. So provided they're involved in things like community sport or that sort of thing, provided they're involved in
100%.
community schooling. I think public schooling is a lot better in that regard.
We all would have had role models that aren't our parents.
Oh, without a
100%.
doubt.
We've got a number of them.
Yeah, and even things to do with siblings.
I mean,
Well, yeah, sorry, you two probably don't have as much of that as me. Just
no, what I mean is, like, in this context, it would be another adopted.
yeah, but
sibling,
that
yeah.
could be, or if you're a gay couple. Sorry, probably not a gay couple, but
Same-sex couple. No, I'm kidding. I was just trying to correct you.
I'm just thinking of like a circumstance where maybe the brother or the sister of one of the people in the gay couple, they're brought into a family where cousins and that sort of things exist, so they can find role models and other people around them involved, provided they're in that family scenario.
I agree with all that. Do we think that pretty much wraps it up? Are there any other like sort of half decent looking arguments against it? All I've heard is like, oh, the kid will get teased. Fuck off.
No, there's no real good
There's
arguments
no-
against
There's
it.
just no like the kid will get bullied. Well, teach your kid not to bully.
Yeah.
Like, you don't be a shit cunt.
There's no plausible argument in a good society. The only problem that we have is that currently society sucks. It's getting better, but it's still
All
currently
gay
sucks.
people are witches. That's the problem.
Yeah, well,
Imagine being gay and getting to celebrate being able to adopt kids or getting married. Whatever. Can you really celebrate it? Like, really?
What do you
Deep
mean?
down, you can use it. Well, you can use it as an excuse to get fuck-eyed. But deep down, it's like, I can't believe we had to fight for this.
oh yeah, it's not even a
Like,
victory.
that's
It should just be a given.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean not like celebrating their actual wedding? You
No.
mean celebrating like the fact that they
can.
got it? Yeah. It's one of those things where it would be like we shouldn't have had to fight for this, but
Yeah.
now we have. All right. Next topic.
Is our behaviour determined by, or only by our genes?
I'm gonna say almost not at all.
Yeah, I agree.
See? But
Relatively.
I was going to say, I can't speak for you guys, but I tend not to run in mine because they're a bit tighter, so I guess so.
That is hilarious, and that's exactly where I thought you were going with
Yeah.
that.
I'm so glad you did it. I'm so
Yeah,
glad
look,
you
I've
did
got it written down. Genes spelt with a G and genes spelt with a J.
I
Nice.
knew you were headed with that, but
Absolutely
yeah, okay, well done.
hilarious.
All right, that is the kind of quality content that means we only get 20 listeners a week.
Hey, 40.
Hey, 20 dedicated listeners.
40. Fucking 40. We've got 40, all right?
40 dedicated listeners.
What are you guys' thoughts on this though? Because I wouldn't mind looking at this a little bit in depth.
There's just too many outweighing factors to just narrow it down to genes.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, like,
If I was born into a rich family,
Don't, Josh. I'll bash you.
I'd probably be a prick.
genes
even
with
more so.
pre-torn holes, skinny
100%.
genes, slim genes.
I almost base it off the fact that, Josh, shut the fuck up, mate.
Hey, if he can make the joke, then I can add to it.
He made one joke one time.
Black denim.
Yeah, and I added to it one time. Now he's added to it second
Yeah,
time.
okay.
Shut up, Aiden.
All right, fair enough.
Depends if you're born into a Kmart brand or Levi's family. That's going to be the title of this podcast. Just genes.
The Calvin Klein dirt jeans.
Surely.
JJ's. Who else?
Is JJ's just jeans? I mean, I know.
Oh my god.
No, there's two
No,
different.
yeah,
fucking
but this is a
names.
conspiracy.
Double J's though.
Yeah. Well, no, but you'd spell jeans with a G.
But they've done it.
No, but we're about to because we're almost in daylight savings.
And we've forgotten to take into consideration the conversion from Aussie dollars
Okay,
to
we
baht.
can't do it. We can't.
Nobody's going to get it.
Everyone will hate us. All right.
Everyone already hates us.
I kind of base the fact that people fucking swap religions. Kids rebel. I'm pretty big on the whole nurture being bigger than nature thing. So,
Yeah, without a doubt.
whilst I believe that you can inherit some personality traits, like I think you absolutely can, and I think that some things might just be in you as a part of you. Like I kind of do buy that to a point. But like you take someone who was born in the jungle, like one of those village people of some description. YMCA. No, like no, but like you take someone that's born in like the Amazon or some shit, take them from birth, put them in like a posh family, they're not all of a sudden going to be the fucking like Bush Tucker guy.
Ape that you fucking think they would be, yeah.
Yeah, like they're just going to be the same. They're not going to be like this primitive person. I kind of feel like, oh, it's in my blood or in my genes or whatever. It's just, like I've inherited it. It's almost like a myth that people who didn't want to be responsible for their actions might have brought up, or parents looking for something to blame because their kids turned out the way they did. Like,
You know who started this? People who drink Jack Daniels and beat their missus.
yeah, well,
I just get angry when I have Jack Daniels.
It's almost like astrology. Like, sorry, I can't help it. I'm a Leo. No, you're a cunt. Like, fuck off.
People always say rum makes you really
Yeah.
angry.
Apparently, that's a thing.
I just reckon it's angry people drink rum.
100%. Look at fucking Bundaby.
Yeah,
Bundaberg.
exactly.
Someone's called Bundaby.
Bundaby. The way I like to look at it is you've got different types of behaviour. You've got your classroom behaviour, which requires your thought. It's how you're taught to act. It's how you're taught to interact with people and react to different situations. However, there is like little things in terms of physical behaviour. You might inherit a certain reactions to different stimuli. So you might inherit quite a strong flight reflex.
Yeah.
In terms of fight and flight reflexes.
Yeah.
But you won't inherit, or even you might inherit a level of ADHD or that sort of thing.
But you're not going to inherit manners.
No, exactly right. You're not going to inherit the ability to, be polite. You're not going to inherit that sort of thing is what you learn. It's exactly right. It's nature versus nurture. It's what you're taught.
100%. If way down the line, just to put this in a bit of perspective, if people didn't get that, what Josh was saying, let's say, for example, how many years ago you came from a tribe of some description that would always lose fights and was always running when brought into like some sort of adrenaline, you might be more prone to run away or be slightly more submissive when someone's aggressive up against you.
I just want to ask the question, but thinking about it in like, I don't want to say standard genders, but just male and female sort
Binary.
of. Huh?
Binary sexes, yeah.
In your binary sexes.
Sorry.
And narrow it down to certain situations. So say, would it be based on your genes when guys think with their dicks in certain situations because of the hormones that flood their body?
I'm actually
Or
glad
is
you
that
brought
just
this up because
biological?
so we actually have a biological thing that goes on within us that there's been a bit of study on, where we actually look for like the ideal mate based on what's going to produce the strongest offspring, whether that be like from an intellectual or like a physical perspective.
That's why I think polar bears are so attractive.
No, but like there are some guys that are like, yeah, I just want to sleep with an Islander chick, so my kid will be like a gun footballer. Like, it's like an evolutionary thing because you try and find someone who's going to like produce the ideal offspring. So I think from a thinking with your dick perspective, that could be a thing. Wow, I like our science topics.
Time to chat. Ha!
I love those. They're so good. They're quality.
Do we have much more on that?
No, really, no.
I feel like I do, but I just can't think of the thought that I had before when I was thinking about it.
Do we go on to piercing and tattoo discrimination then?
Let's jump
All
over
right.
to tattoo and piercing discrimination in the workplace.
I reckon if you work in like an elderly care facility, they should be allowed to say no because old people don't want to see that shit and they're going to die in a hot minute anyway. So who cares?
That's both a for and against.
Nah. Like, straight up.
But Aiden, they're going to die. Who cares?
Yeah, I know, but you don't want like their last
There you
memory
go.
to be of like, look, I'm cool.
Kyle smashing in the Gyprock in front of him.
Like, I'm cool
punching
with
monsters and darts 24/7.
I'm cool with tattoos and piercings, but like, let's not be fucking too beat around the bushy about it. Some of you cunts look gross, eh? Like, flat out. Like, get yourselves to a hospital, fix it up, try again. I don't know what you had to work with at the start, but it had to be better than what you ended up with.
Go run a marathon and have the bush burn around you. You guys get the reference? That Aussie who ran that Aussie girl who ran the marathon and threw a bushfire and fucking melted all the skin. Poor woman.
No,
Terrible reference. Husband stuck by her.
was she the one that ended
man.
up like walking a ridiculous amount of the country?
Probably. By the way, off topic, Mike Posner is walking around America or through America. Like the dirtiest
Really?
thing he's called in there.
Yeah,
And he's at like
Fuck right.
4,000 miles out of 5,000 something. And he was walking and just got fucking stung by... What stung? Bit by a rattlesnake and nearly died. And he had to spend 3 days in hospital and learn how to walk again.
He's like one of those producers, like there's people that are massive that you never really hear about. Like, because remember when he did that Pill and Ibiza song? Fuck, that was big too.
That was fucking tiny. And then Avicii did his version of it and it was fucking massive.
Took a pill and Ibiza. I thought he did it just the original with Avicii.
Well, maybe.
Mike,
I said let's ask him, but he's dead now.
Posner, net worth. It's only worth 8 mil. Fucking peasant.
8 more than me.
Yeah.
You know how expensive it is to walk around the country? Or through? Again, I don't know the details.
I don't know how expensive anti-venom is either.
Wouldn't be cheap. Especially if it was in Las Vegas. Fuck me.
At least you could make some money.
Gonna have to write another fucking one day. I wrote down for tattoo discrimination. Fair enough. It's understandable and should at least not be discriminated if the tats are in a place that can be covered by a suit. And if you get tattoos on your face and neck, even though I am a fan, you should at least be aware of the consequences of looking like a rapist and a murderer. But in all seriousness, it's the world we live in and first impressions are based on appearances and it's been that way for hundreds of years.
They're all fair and reasonable. I think it sucks, right? Let's say someone had a real decent skill set in whatever workplace. Let's say they were great. Let's say they were a fucking sick lawyer in some weird scenario where they're like a sick lawyer, but they got a face tattoo and then they get discriminated against. It's shit, but then I think you just have to put up with the fact that, like, if you have to meet a client, they might not be cool with it. That's just the way some people are. So, whilst I understand, like, I think it's illegal to discriminate against it. I think it is.
Depends on
Position's just been
circumstance.
closed, sorry. What do you mean?
Yeah, fuck, I don't know. Hey, like,
I reckon.
I'm not anti-tattoo by any means, but just...
I think there's only a couple places where you actually need to be that conservative.
Well, the front fell off by all means.
I know. I fucking
None
lived
of
in
you
yard.
could say by all means now and just not make me laugh. By all
Such a good skit. We should do something like that.
I don't think we
think
would
we
ever
could.
get something so good.
I reckon we could just spend some time and write it down and really commit. And
I still don't reckon we'd make
Senator
it as
Collins,
good.
thanks for joining us. It's a great pleasure. Thank you.
No,
Alright.
so the way you got to look at it, I think anyway, in terms of like a combat situation, or like, you know, if you look at the military, they've got really strict tattoo policies, and that's quite often because when you're going overseas to different, like, engage in different cultures, tattoos mean something completely different to how they do in Western culture. In Western culture, they literally are just an expressive art form for each individual person, whereas in different cultures they actually mean something quite significant, whether it be status or, you know, a mark of you know, degradation or something like that, or even religious markings. So in that regard, I think you definitely need to have restrictions because you've got to have those cultural sensitivities. Oh, also in terms of like research perspective, if you're going into a, I don't know, let's say they were doing research on the tribals on North Sentinel Island, then you'd probably want to restrict some tattoos that you had there because they may mean something to those people.
Well, you couldn't go there anyway, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
You understand.
But by the same launch though, you'd think in some branches of the military it makes more sense to have tattoos, better camo.
Well, to some degree, yeah.
It would never get passed by that regard, but
that sort of thing has
a full blown
happened
face
in the
tattoo.
past.
It's like you wouldn't fucking see him.
Quite often, people serving in Afghanistan are allowed to grow full facial beards because it actually helps to grant them some respect with the locals. So, it has been known to have that sort of thing happening.
This is man. Let him through.
But you've also got to look at the fact that tattoos, even in Western culture, have been associated with crime and crime families for quite a while. That's where 100%. The original tattoos came from. They were a marking of criminals. But I think in this day and age, especially in Western society, the Conservatives just need to accept it.
I think it's one of those things where some people view it as like a blanket statement. Like, let's say some gangs, you might get your logo, symbol, colours, or whatever it might be tattooed on you, and then they go, "Oh, this criminal's has a tattoo with this logo. That means people with tattoos are members of criminal organisations." Like, it needs to not be a blanket thing. Like,
yeah. The fact is,
just because a criminal drives a car and I drive a car doesn't mean all people that drive cars.
Exactly right. There's still just a conservative stigma around tattoos that, just like any of these other things that we've discussed today, needs to be abolished before society can blossom.
My dad's real anti him or his children having tattoos, and I've never it's I think it's just a weird ethnic thing, but I don't understand it because it's kind of just his family. He doesn't care if other people have tattoos. He just doesn't want us to. Makes me want one more.
Well, I mean, that could be in terms of a decision-making thing. He doesn't want... if I ever have kids, I won't want them getting a tattoo until they're, old enough to be sure about the decision.
Yeah.
That's the fact.
And that's
that I think the
100% fair enough.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah, well.
And as long as don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I want to make friends, and the joke I was going to make... It's
going back on what you said about the tattoo discrimination, and where it was you can have somebody really highly remarked and they're given field, but because they've got tattoos they get judged and discriminated on. It's like playing blackjack, isn't it? You might have 17 or 18. I think it's a pretty good number, pretty close to 21, but there might be other people out there with 17 or 18 as well, and you hit it, and that's the card that you draw yourself.
I get what you mean, 100%.
I disagree.
So you mean, let's say you had two people of equal caliber. One has facial tattoos, one doesn't.
Everybody has cards that they're dealt him off, but if you decide to tat your body all over and get your face tattooed and piercings, you've drawn that card yourself. That wasn't one that was dealt to you by Jeebus.
And I don't think it's the wrong thing to do by any means. You've got a couple tattoos.
Oh, by all means.
It's just, I don't know. It's just weird.
Whoa! Sorry, podcast.
I actually like holding it sometimes. Ooh. It feels cool.
I just wanted to try one on, see what it felt like.
All right.
I think that's us for all our topics. If we've got any closers, sure. I've got one little closer.
Fucking hit it. Put it away. I'm already tired of holding this mic. I'm putting it back in the fucking head.
So I don't know if you guys ever thought about it or said it in high school or anything, any school, but some guys would say, "Fuck, if I was a girl, I'd be real hot," or vice versa. If a girl was a guy, they'd be hot. And I always thought to myself, if I was a girl, I'd have a decent ass and a flat chest. And then if you ever look at a girl and go, fuck, you'd be an attractive guy if you were a guy. In your mind, can you picture a girl that you think wouldn't have a big dick if they were a guy? Yeah, now they've given it more than 5 seconds thought. I'm not going to name and shame you small dick bitches, but...
You guys would have shit dicks, eh?
You guys wouldn't be able to cope with it as well as we do. That's for sure.
Swallow your pride and...
Overcompensate with shit comedy.
Yeah, walk down the streets and pretend that you don't use your podcast to hide the fact you got a shit cock. It takes guts that you women don't possess.
There's really no such thing as white privilege when you've got an under 2-inch dick, is there?
Yeah, you've lost all the privilege. Like, you have nothing.
It's a thing. I reckon no matter what, the world finds a way to balance itself out. Like, for example...
Well, mate, I'm fucking waiting. It's at
No,
the tipping point.
No. Hear me out. So, for example, white men hold, the vast majority of wealth. Black men hold the vast majority of large cocks. Like, it's just a simple... It's a trade-off.
And singing and dancing talent.
Yeah, exactly.
Naturally, not like at the higher end spectrum.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
Let's stop recording here. All right. Guys, that's been episode 18. We really hope you've enjoyed. That's been
I'm kidding. 18.
Guys, hit us up on Insta and shit. We're going to... Look, we all work full-time jobs, but we will start filming and shit soon. We are still planning our pie trip. And, we're going to just, come and, just really just fucking kill it, yeah? All right, just stick by us, okay? Just
kill it, yeah. Stick by us. Listen to our podcast. I was really hoping you wouldn't resort to, actual porn words.
You fucking...
I just wanted to stick to podcast related, but keep the tone.
All right. Let's try again.
Comment, subscribe.
Oh, flick us a like and a comment. Oh.
I thought you said comment. I was like, nah.
I'm not engaged with this.
Virgin alert.
See you guys.
Catch ya.
Bye.
Love Central.
That was a Titancast episode.